here with a new video today. So I didn't post this review of episode 2 of the show I was doing the review on since it came back since the season started. So today's video is going to be the review of Roswell, New Mexico season 2 episode 3. I didn't post episode 2 guessing because I was too lazy and too tired to edit, and I'm gonna take full responsibility on not doing that and whatnot when I wanted to do it but I didn't. So let's get on with this new review of Roswell, New Mexico, of the new episode that came out yesterday. So we see a recap of what happened in episode 2, episode 1, and the finale of season 1. And first we see Michael talking to Max in his pod, putting up like this cord or whatever in there to boost up or something of the regeneration. And then Alex came in, and Michael was talking about what he was doing, and Alex was like, I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. And Michael ends up being like sarcastic to him, saying like, sorry, I didn't catch up between the torture, lust, and whatnot, and what's up, bro. They talk about that a little bit, and then Alex tells Michael that he was trying to get into like the file of Michael's mom, but it's like cryptic and stuff, like no one didn't want him to find out what happened, and he wanted to see if Michael was okay with him to find out more about his mom. Michael's like, sure, yeah, go ahead. And then we see back at Max's house, Liz comes back with like a bag of art supplies, and before she goes into the kitchen, Rosa ends up pouring like some whiskey or something into her cup. And then when she hears Liz coming in, she hides the bottle but doesn't hide like the cup because Liz wouldn't even know what she was drinking. And Liz talks about what she read on art, but then Rosa said she would look into it, and she said before Liz ran, she said love you. She ran, but before she left out, she does what she normally does now. She touches Max's hat, and then she goes do what she usually do now to find out how to say Max. And then we see Michael coming out of his trailer and giving Maria something to eat, and she is like impressed. But before I talk about more on that, we finally get to see Cam back into Roswell. She comes back, and before she can even enter Roswell, Maria's mom comes out of nowhere, and Cameron had already like drank like probably an energy drink or something, and after she threw the can on her seat, she sees Maria's mom on the road, asking if she's heard, if she came from somewhere, because she came out of nowhere. And of course Maria's mom's like, you're right, I came out of nowhere. And they both look up, and of course now back to Maria and Michael. They talk about what happened, and before they kiss, Isabel comes in running, talking about their situation and stuff. And of course Maria said something that kind of sounded like something sexual or whatever, but she probably didn't meant it that way, but Michael kind of made it sound like that, and then Isabel was grossed out. And then one of Maria's employees or workers or customer came out saying that someone is asking for her on the phone. She goes in, those two talk, then Michael and Isabel talk. Michael's like, where were you and your opinions at and stuff, and she leaves. And then Maria comes out so fast, and before Isabel leaves, Maria comes out so fast telling Michael that the sheriff found her mom out of nowhere. And of course Michael asked her if she wanted him to come with her. She's like, oh no, you're not meeting my mom. And then she kisses him goodbye. And then Isabel leaves, and then we see Cameron talking to the sheriff in the hospital. Kyle's mom ends up mentioning that Max is gone since he probably went on vacation off of work. And of course she freaks, and of course she's confused and curious like what actually happened with Max. And then we see Isabel coming back. Is at her house. She's in her pajamas, and I guess she saw like a picture of her and Noah, or her and Max, and she put it in the box. And of course Max, her figment of her imagination, comes out, and he's talking like how usually the actual Max would say. And she took an extra dose of the alien killer serum, and Max talks to her about is she even doing the right thing, terminating the pregnancy. But before Max came up, Isabel got like a chime on her phone saying that her bundle of joys is in the size of a blueberry. And of course, I mean, we all understand why Isabel wanted to terminate the baby, but we didn't know what was her reason behind why she wanted to do that. Then we see, we see Michael coming out getting food. Cameron catches him, and Michael being like so funny, he's like, I paid for this time. And of course Michael had to like lie that he the last time he knew where Max was in Mexico. And of course Cameron had to like really budge him by saying something that they shouldn't say in front of the cafe, by saying that she hid the fact that they knew who was Rosa's killer and stuff, and that they were aliens, and she kept Max's secret, and that if you keep lying to the ones who are like your allies and like you love them and stuff, eventually you will lose them. And of course Michael sends her to Liz's Ray. But before we see that, we see like a little bit in the episode where Maria's talking to her mom in the hospital, asking her mom if that's her boots, or whose boots is that. She says it's hers. And of course we see her at the bar, and while Maria is trying to put pieces together, she hears something in her like storage room, a noise, because she heard like a glass fell. And of course she got her taser, and she's like saying something to whoever was there, and then she finds out it's Rosa. And then she thinks she's going insane because her mom was the same way and whatnot. And of course Rosa, being drunk as I don't know what, drunk as a skunk probably, and she's like, I don't even think I'm crazy at this point. And she's like, I'm the crazy one in this relationship, in this friendship. And she asks Maria, she believes in aliens. And of course at that point we didn't see what else happened. And then we see a part in the episode where Kyle's mom goes to Isabel, while she's still talking to the figment of her imagination, throwing up, and she talks about the struggles or whatever on Noah's arms and legs, like the ties and the handcuffs, and of course she asked her to excuse her because she needed to throw up. She comes back with like this box, and of course no one doesn't even know her and Noah's sex life when they were married. She brought a box out, and Kyle's mom opens it, closes it real fast, and Isabel, being sarcastic as ever, saying, "Sorry, I forgot to tell you about trigger warning." She opens the box, and Kyle's mom's like, "Where are you going with this?" And she's like, "A few years ago back, I stole these handcuffs from Max because the plastic one was so flimsy, and the sex toys and stuff." And of course, at this point, Kyle's mom was like feeling so disgusted and weirded out about what Isabel was showing her and stuff. So she left, and then at some point she threw up again after telling Max or whatever, but this time she threw up blood. And then we see again to the point where Cameron already went to the abandoned building where Liz's lab is. They talk, they hang out and whatnot, comfort each other. And then some point, then we see Michael come to the Pony bar, and he told Maria that he heard what happened and whatnot. And of course he saw Rosa, and he knew something was gonna happen after that. Maria tells him to leave, and Michael holds her and said that, "I wanted to tell you everything since and whatnot." And Maria's like, "I put the two together." And then after that, I don't know what happened between them. And then we see again, probably, we see back at Isabel's house. She's still talking to her figment of imagination, and this time Figment Max tells her that she's already bleeding a lot, and it's time for her to take the antidote. She tries to get up and tries to get it, but then it slips off the table. She gets up, tries to get it, but then she ends up falling down to the point where she hits her head on the side or this side on her table. We see Rosa ends up having sort of like a conversation dream with Max, talking about that Max is feeling stronger, and even in the pod he can still feel something's wrong, and said that Isabel's died, and he pleads with Rosa to help him save Isabel. So while Liz and Cameron talks, and of course Rosa tells Liz to please check if Isabel is okay, even if she's probably not, or if she is. And Liz says, "Okay, I will check her and stuff." And she's like, no, she can't do it. And then she finds out that Cameron wasn't drunk with her, and Cameron explains that she didn't want to be drunk with her having a firearm or a sidearm in her hand. And she takes Liz to Isabel's place. Liz of course didn't know what was actually happening. She's still drunk, and she's like, "Isabel is your favorite intruder" and stuff. And then she finds out that Isabel's on the ground bleeding, and she sees the antidote next to Isabel, takes it, stabs it in her heart, and gives her the serum. And at that point they talk about what happened and stuff. But before that, before Max went to Rosa, Isabel was talking to Max about how she will be a mom someday when it's her time. She just doesn't want pieces of Noah being in her. And I mean, if Noah wasn't like the evil alien that he showed, or a bad alien he showed to them, she probably would have reconsidered of keeping the baby. But consider knowing everything that Noah has done in the past and that time, she didn't want anything to connect her to Noah. She didn't want her to be a mom, but she wanted on her terms. Like, whoever she is with that is not like remotely like Noah, she'll be a mom. But other than that, yeah. And then Isabel goes to the hospital, check on Mimi, which is Maria's mom. Maria, of course, was at this point she did not had it with Liz, and Liz tries to explain why she lied to her and why she didn't want to tell her, even if she wanted to tell her. Maria at this point probably doesn't want to do anything with her, so they left. And then we see Alex going to Michael's place, talking about what happened to the mom, that there was this guy who was in the army back then, who knew probably their great-grandparents, and his name was Trip, but his real name was redacted. And he reads out what Trip's story or whatever that happened that time, talking about how that when Michael's mom came out, she was harmless, but then one of her friends, probably Michael's aunt or something, I think it was a guy, I don't know, I don't want to like label anything or whatever, touched her shoulder, and out of nowhere used his or her other hand to put fire, and of course it burned up Hector, Valenti, and of course at this point they all started to shoot. Michael's mom got hit, and of course Michael's mom took one of their cars or trucks or something like that, and they followed Trip, and his men followed her, and of course Trip ends up manipulating Michael's mom by playing to her vulnerability, and then take her. And of course one of his men, or all of them, saw a light they never saw. And of course this other lady, who we probably think is Michael's mom's friend or sister or something, came in and helped save her by screaming to everyone's ears. Of course at this point one of the men ends up shooting her, and she does it again. And of course at this point, before they shot her, Trip tells his men don't shoot, but then eventually did. And Michael's mom took the gun that probably Trip dropped and shot one of his men, and they get into the vehicle, they leave, and Trip sees 3 like pods with children in it. And of course he knew that any scared mom would help protect her kids, even if they're not human or in any species, of course. And at this point he didn't read anything else, and then we saw Michael's mom and this blonde lady going to someone's house, and of course and then a guy comes out with a gun, but Michael's mom was on the ground with the other lady, trying to help her get up and whatnot, and she does this like what Michael does with when he uses his powers. And the guy tells her that, lady, I mean no harm and stuff, I want to help, please let me help you. And the first word that Michael's mom finally said was help. Then after that, Michael's probably like so upset and stuff, and Alex was gonna leave, but Michael's like, where are you going? And Alex said, I thought we were done. He said, no, I found it in the cache or whatever. And he shows Alex a picture of his mom, saying that, how does a lit woman goes from crashing to winning a pumpkin contest to being an experiment and stuff. And of course he asked if the other woman was Isabel and Max's mom, and of course that is like very like a question mark. Like, hopefully we get to see more if that is Max and Isabel's mom, but Alex said that he'll probably try to find something on her and find out more, and there's probably more to the story. We don't know what really happened, why Michael's mom didn't wake them up when she was still free. She didn't like give herself up and stuff. And of course Michael at this point was probably confused or upset why the mom never woke them up and just decided to let them be on their own and make them wake up 50 years later on their own, alone and stuff, not knowing who they are and why they're there. And that, like, it'd be really exciting to find out that the blonde woman that was with Michael's mom was actually Isabel and Max's mom. Like if she was still alive, like, we didn't even see her in the Caulfield prison that Michael's mom was in. So hopefully you get to hear more on that story of her. Like, is she still alive? Was she in the prison with Michael's mom? Or if she wasn't, like, has she been around all this time, watching over Max, Isabel, and Michael for Michael's mom and whatnot, and more on if Isabel's gonna be telling Liz and the others her hidden truth that she didn't tell them since she first found out, and more on how Maria is taking on the news of Rosa being alive, and that Michael, Isabel, and Max were aliens, and that Liz kept it from her. Hopefully we get to see more in that, and hopefully we get to see how Maria's mom's gonna help her process all of that and make her realize on some things, all of that, and if Cameron's here to stay, and hopefully we get to see more of Kyle, because I think episode 2 he wasn't in the episode that much, or he wasn't in it yet, and also this episode. So yeah, overall this episode was pretty great. We got to see more on Michael's mom, more on their background story. We get to see Cameron come back helping Liz with finding out how to save Max and stuff, and we get to see more on how Rosa's life is getting from worse to better, like, and hopefully we get to see if they're gonna tell their dad that Rosa's alive. Hopefully we get to see more and everything we all have on theories about. But before I make this video any longer, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, have a notification bell to always be notified on weekly videos, because they're coming. It's just possibly the process of me uploading is gonna take long, and me uploading these videos takes probably 3 hours to upload or 2 hours to upload, depending on when I start uploading it. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.